Okay, this is chapter 57 of The Night Singer. 57. On his way out of the morning meeting, Eric got a bad cramp in his calf that he had to pause for a moment. He knew he had probably pushed himself a little too hard during his run this morning, but he didn't want to give up. Doing things half-heartedly had never been his thing. When he first started learning Muriti, he had spent a few hours a day on it for several weeks, but his progress seemed so slow that he eventually gave up entirely. He took a step to one side to allow Amir to pass. "You okay?" his colleague asked. I think I've been taking the Iron Man a bit too seriously. The real trick is doing the race without any training. Are you kidding me? Is anyone crazy enough to do that? My brother, Amir said with a laugh. A few years ago, he couldn't walk for days afterwards. How about you? You aren't tempted to try? I'd rather swallow fire on Sweden's Got Talent. You can swallow fire? Maybe. We'll find out. Eric's cramp began to wear off, and he limped down the corridor. Perhaps he should just admit to Surprise that he was sick of the training. That would cheer her up. Her parents were planning to explore Kalmar on their own today, and Surprise was worried about what they might get up to, that they would keep calling her, constantly asking for help. Eric found her moaning hard to take. It was so out of character. Either way, Surprise had been right about one thing. Inviting Hannah over to dinner had been a good idea. Eric had been slightly worried when she got up and left so abruptly, and had wanted to send a message to check that she was okay, but Surprise had said it was unnecessary. Hannah seemed perfectly happy when he said hello to her this morning. During the meeting, the mood had changed. They were in a position where all they could really do was wait, and the meeting hadn't lasted long. A jacket with blood on one sleeve had been seized from Fanny's house and sent off for analysis. The girl herself seemed to have gone underground, a fact Ove interpreted as a sign of guilt, though it could just as easily be fear. Eric remembered the panic in Fanny's eyes as she roared that they were trying to frame her. Ove wanted them to focus on Fanny, and had put out an internal alert so that every patrol unit would be on the lookout for her. Eric hadn't argued, despite being convinced that Marcus Johansson was a more likely perpetrator. They were still busy gathering information on him, and Karina was supposed to be checking through everything they'd collected so far. Bank statements, call lists, background information. There was something about the so-called friendship between Marcus and Joel that just didn't sit right. In Eric's view, it was high time they started re-interviewing people with a focus on the people closest to Joel Forsland. Sometimes you had to follow the initial shock of a person's death to settle before their relatives and friends could really talk about the deceased. His phone buzzed with a message from Surprise. It's only 9 o'clock and Mom's already called me twice. Where are the keys? Where's the nearest ATM? I'm going crazy. She had explained everything to her parents the day before, but clearly none of it had sunk in. They were getting old, and they were in an unfamiliar environment, though Eric didn't write any of that. Instead, he sent his sympathy. Eric logged into his emails and discovered a new message from Melina. She had checked the CCTV footage from the shopping center in Farston and thought she had found what they were looking for. He clicked on the attached file. The video was from a camera positioned diagonally above and showed Joel walking past in jeans and a hoodie. His movement seemed quick and angry. Another figure soon caught up with him. A man in a pair of smart trousers and a shirt. Eric paused the video in order to get a better look. There was no doubt about it. The older man was Marcus Johansson. He was standing in front of Joel, his face to the camera. Eric hit play again. There was an exchange lasting a few minutes, and then Marcus placed a hand on Joel's shoulder. Joel shook it off and hurried away, leaving Marcus behind to watch him leave. He was clearly upset. Petrie Forsland had described the exchange as intimate, but Eric didn't agree. On the other hand, maybe Petrie had noticed something the camera hadn't managed to capture. Eric took a step back so he could see everyone in the room. I need a deaf person. Why? Asked Daniel. So they can lip read a CCTV video for me. Just because they're deaf doesn't mean they'd be able to read lips, said Daniel. No, but my mom is deaf, and she can also lip read.